Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Watch Monkey. And today we're going to be talking about two watches, a Christopher Ward and a Nomos watch, kind of a head-to-head, so to speak. But before we get into today's topic, can I please ask you guys to leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon, and to help me make this channel a success. I'm a Canadian living here in North Vancouver, and I do watch reviews. The watches that I review are all watches that I personally own, and I've got no vested interest in any of these companies or anything like that. So it's going to be an honest review, and I'm always open to learning as well. But anyway, the two watches that I'm going to be reviewing today is this one here, the Christopher Ward C3 Grand Malvern Small Seconds watch. This watch that I'm going to be unboxing shortly is one of Christopher Ward's first in-house movement watches using the SH21 movement, which has a 5-day power reserve. It uses 2 barrels, but anyway, I'll show you that later. Very impressive. The second watch, very well known amongst the watch enthusiasts, is Nomos, and the one that I purchased was the Nomos Club Datum 733 series, which is a 38.5 millimeter watch. Using the beta movement, meaning that it's basically the alpha movement. It's a hand-wide movement, but with a date, and it's called the beta movement. So those are the two watches that I'm going to be reviewing today, fairly in depth. And let's see who wins between those two watches. I like them both, and it's a lot closer than you guys might be thinking. I know a lot of people are thinking, Christopher Ward, doesn't have a chance. You might want to rethink that. But anyway, that's what this video is all about. And let's flip the camera around and let's get into this and do a head-to-head. Okay, we've got the camera, flipped around now. And here are two watches that we're going to be taking a look at. As was mentioned, this one here is the C1 Grand Malvern Small Seconds watch. And then the other watch is going to be the Nomos 733 Club Date. Both really good looking watches. Let's just take a quick look closely at them. And let's get a little bit closer here. So that's a Nomos, and you can see it really is a beautiful watch. No question about it. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of the watch enthusiasts really like this watch. Plus, it's manufacturing their own movements. And as was mentioned, this is the beta movement, which is using the date, not just telling the time. So you can see down there, you've got the date there. And I'm going to show you something really weird too about how you set that. It's kind of a little bit on the primitive side, kind of a la Vostok. They use the same way of setting that. But anyways, so that's again, the Nomos Club Datum 733 in a 38.5 millimeter case. This is the C1 Grand Malvern made by Christopher Ward using the SH21, which is a 5-day power reserve hand wind, and you can see the dual barrels there. Yeah, this watch is no slouch, that's for sure. But anyways, okay, so let's do a comparison. Let's look at the dials first of all. So here you got the Nomos, here you got the Christopher Ward. Honest to goodness, guys, when you look at them closely, the Nomos is beautiful, okay? The dial and that is very nicely done for sure. Beautiful. I love how the window for the date is right at the bottom of the 6 o'clock position. And you can see there it says made in Germany. By the way, these watches are made in Germany in a city called Glashütte, and it's in their name as well. So yeah, here is a closer look at the Christopher Ward, and this is based in England, and these are Swiss made, so these are actually made in Switzerland. And you can see this is a very clean, very minimalistic dial. But I want you to notice something here. Those hands are thermally blued. They kind of look black at times, but those are actually thermally blued hands. Hope you guys can see that. And look at how the posts for the hands are done. They're done so nicely. I don't know if you, there you go. You can kind of see that. It's very impressive. Like, this watch is done to a very high level. And you can see the crown is signed Christopher Ward. And the case is quite slim. Not as slim as the Nomos though, but this is a pretty slim case. I'm just letting you get a closer look at that. Sorry about the fingerprints, guys. Neither of these watches are brand new, by the way. They were purchased off the secondary market. One was off of Facebook Marketplace, and the other one was eBay. So, yeah, let's take another look at the Nomos again, and take a look at the posts, and you'll see what I mean. The posts are nothing special here that are holding the hands, and yeah, the hands look like they're kind of painted black with a orange in the center there, which looks great. It gives a lot of pop. Very easy to read watch. Easier to read than the Christopher Ward. That's for sure. But the Christopher Ward isn't hard to read. And these are both Bauhaus style watches. I would say that the Christopher Ward is even more true in this particular model anyways. It's much more of a minimalist watch. You can see the size difference here too when I hold them next to each other. It's not a huge difference, but it is a fair amount. I'll put these both on wrist so you can see. As I mentioned, this is a 38.5. This is just a tad over 40. I measured it. It's 40.2 millimeters in case diameter. The lug to lug, actually, believe it or not, on the Nomos is fractionally larger than the Christopher Ward. This was, I think, 47, and this was 47 point, this was 47, and this was 36.7. So it's close. It's not a huge difference. And you can see here by looking at them that they are very close in the distance from one leg end all the way to the other. Okay. So again, we'll flip these over and we'll put them next to each other, and you guys decide which one you think is the nicer looking movement. You can see that the Christopher Ward, they've used a lot of engraving and detailing and so on. They've written a Christopher Ward there, and yeah, it's a nice looking movement where they've put a lot of decoration onto it. Now the Nomos, granted, it is a simpler movement. I forget what the power reserve is on this, but it's adequate. Okay, it's going to be around that 50-hour power reserve. It usually goes like 2 days or so on a full charge. And you can see here that is the beta movement. Nice looking movement. Nice decoration as well on that movement. If you guys are thinking about getting a Nomos watch, I would highly recommend that you get the display back. It's part of the charm of the watch. Yeah. So we'll look at the side profile of this watch. You can see it's quite thin. And actually, you know what? Let's do a proper measurement here for you guys. Okay. So the thickness of this watch, I've got my micrometer here. So let's take a look. And okay, so that's 8.6 millimeters in thickness. Okay. The Christopher Ward is going to be a little bit thicker for sure, and that's measuring at 11.9. All right. The lug to lug too, I think both of these are going to be 20. No, okay, so this one's 22 millimeter. That's the width distance here from lug width. So your straps are going to be 22 on this. On the Christopher Ward, it's actually thinner. It's 20. What else can I tell you? Both leather straps are great. They're a little bit different. This has gone for a more thicker vintage strap. Very high quality. The one thing I do like about this though, it has the quick release mechanism here. So strap changes are super, super easy on this watch. Whereas this one, it's got your typical spring bar where you need the tool to take it out. So yeah, there's that, which is again, no big deal. You can see the leather on this is very nice, and it's very thin. So let me throw these two watches here on wrist to see what you guys think. And for those of you that aren't aware of it, I'm just going to take off. I'll just show you the watch that I'm wearing today. Another great watch. That's the Oris pointer date, Big Crown pointer date. This one's pretty cool. But anyway, I'm going to take that off. And let's put these two watches on wrist so you can see what they look like. So I'm going to throw the Nomos on first. And this is the smaller of the watches. It wears super nice. I'm not going to kid you guys. It wears great. So let me just kind of turn around here. And you can see there on my 7-inch wrist, it sits very nice and flat. It's not overly large. There's no hanging over the wrist. So you can see this watch here is actually a very nice fit. I got a lot of glare there. Sorry, guys. But anyway, that's the Nomos. Looks fantastic. You guys won't be disappointed, especially if you got maybe slightly smaller wrist. Like I consider mine quite average, 7. So here we've got the Christopher Ward, and this is slightly bigger. This is a 40.2 millimeter in diameter, the case diameter watch. I'm going to throw this on wrist, and you guys can decide which one you think suits my wrist size better. So here, that's on my wrist here, and that's the Christopher Ward. All right. So you can see this also fits my wrist very nice. So if you like a little bit bigger watch, the Christopher Ward is going to be the watch for you. If you like it a little bit smaller, then I'd be going with the Nomos. Now, as far as price goes, they're both similarly priced when they're new. I did pick these up used. This one I picked up, I got a really good deal. I picked that up for about $725 Canadian. And this one I picked up for about $1,300 Canadian. And so this was a fair chunk more than the Christopher Ward was. Now, which watch would I give up if I had to give up one? That's a real tough one, guys. Honestly, it's really close to me. The quality of these watches, to me, are on par. I asked my wife earlier in the day, which watch would you take, or which one do you think is the better looking one of the two? She picked the Christopher Ward. She liked the how clean the watch is. Very simple, very sharp. There's no denying that. So my wife liked the Christopher Ward. Now I've got a 16-year-old daughter. She liked this one better. I asked her why. She says, "Oh, it looks more fun." How could I argue with that? Yeah, I said, well, go explain a little bit more. She says, "Well, Dad, I like the orange on the hands. The case shape is a little more fun, whereas a Christopher Ward tends to be a little bit more, I would say, dressy and more serious than the Club. The Club is definitely a more fun, more casual kind of watch." So again, we get back to who wins the battle of these two watches. Honestly, if I had $1,000 and I was going to spend it on which one would I get if I could get them both for $1,000 without knowing any of the brand history or anything, I'm going to honestly say probably the Christopher Ward. But the fact that I do know about the watch's histories and that would make me lean towards the Nomos. And I know that's not helping you guys out much, but that's the honest truth. Both are fairly hard to get now. The Nomos would definitely be the easier watch to attain than this Christopher Ward Grand Malvern. Good luck trying to find one of these. I've got this by luck. I was actually looking for even another very difficult Christopher Ward to find, and that's the 595. Look it up, you guys. Christopher Ward 595. It's also a Malvern watch, so it's the Christopher Ward Malvern 595. One of the thinnest mechanical watches that you can buy. So there you go. So that's my review, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry it was a little bit longer. But yeah, to me, the winner, I guess, in this one will have to be the Nomos, but not by much. If you factor in the dollars paid, the Christopher Ward is the winner. Okay, so these two are very, very comparable. The finishings on them, on both these watches are done very high. And I would dare to say on the Christopher Ward, it's even done at a higher level than the Nomos. So if you're thinking about a Christopher Ward, I've got a few Christopher Wards. Fantastic watch, especially for the money. And I'll give you guys a tip. I don't want to say this, but this is the truth. They put the Christopher Wards on sale on just after Christmas and after the New Year. You can save yourself a ton of money by going directly to Christopher Ward. I've picked up a few watches from them like that. But anyway, that's it. That's a wrap, guys. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss another episode of The Watch Monkey. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that review. Nomos versus Christopher Ward. Very close. Yeah. Bye-bye.